Oh, what do we have our guest? Oh, well. Well, of course, we've spoken to Mike many times. Let's pop him up. Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe is here with us today. You got him? Yes, you do, of course. We're all working in our digital world here. There he is. Mike, how have you been? You look great.
Bold, new, exciting world, Anthony. I'm fine. I'm fine. Maintaining the illusion of fitness and prosperity, hunkered here in my bunker.
That's a good bunker. I think it's broadcast ready. It's an A for broadcast. You got the flag, a lot of books. You want books. You got some posters back there that still say, "I read, but I'm pretty cool too."
Well, don't look too carefully at the titles. And make no mistake, I also have the obligatory non-functioning microphone, the Emmy.
The Emmy.
I mean, I'm not sure you can see the Emmy okay.
I see that Emmy.
Would it be a little more appropriate if we just...
That's how you should do it every interview. With the Emmy just sitting in front of you.
I bought one of those off Todd Bridges.
Yeah, he was selling a couple. That must have been for Dirty
That's
Jobs.
incredible.
No, you know what? That was actually for Returning the Favor, a show I do on Facebook. I got nominated a bunch for Dirty Jobs, but we never actually won anything. But I'll tell you what I have, Anthony, that I think you'll appreciate. It's a photo of me with a turkey in between my thighs upside down moments before I remove the semen from it. And so I like to keep that sort of on the wall and over my shoulder as a constant reminder of just how bad things could be.
You know what, though? Isn't that illegal? It's called revenge porn now. When
not illegal. I just know that turkey keeps calling me every couple of weeks.
I bet.
We're giving it a good pardon.
Is it? Yes.
When you coming back to Minnesota with your fancy opposable thumbs there, Mr. Fancy Man?
Now, you've been in some controversy, not really of late, but it was for speaking such plain and simple common sense that some of the younger people in this country are so obsessed with going to college. Like there's nothing else. There's just going to college. And you suggested trade schools and going into trades. And when I first heard you say this a few years back, I was like, this is such a brilliant thing for someone in the public eye to say, because it's an important job. They're great careers. And you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and years in a college when who knows what good that is. What kind of response did you get from that? Because, of course, they love saying, oh, my God, he's embroiled in controversy. But you must have gotten some great responses from people that agreed with you.
Well, the thing about controversy, whether it's real or ginned up, is that it leads to press. And the thing about press, if you're running a foundation, is that it gets people's attention. And if you don't have their attention, you'll never have any hope of getting their support. So controversy just, kind of comes with the territory. I don't know that it was a big dust up.
No, not too bad. They tried.
Well, the thing is, look, we've been telling kids the same thing for the last 40 years. If you don't get a 4-year degree, you're screwed. You're going to wind up turning a wrench or with a turkey upside down between your legs or some crazy thing. So, we've got it in their heads that the best path for the most people is the most expensive path. So part of what my foundation does is we award work ethic scholarships to kids who want to learn a skill, master a trade. And part of my rap, when I talk about this, is to always point out that $1.7 trillion in student loans is currently on the books, even though we have millions of open jobs that don't require a 4-year degree. And that ultimately, as a country, we show no sign of stopping this insane process of lending money we don't have to kids who can't pay it back to trade them for jobs that don't exist anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I've got nothing against college. My degree in liberal arts served me well, but Jesus, man, in 1984, it cost me $9,000. Today, the exact same credits from the exact same school would cost just over $90,000.
Oh my God.
So my bitch is that nothing in the history of Western civilization has ever increased in value faster than the cost of a 4-year degree. Not food, not energy, not real estate, not even healthcare.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of a scandal that we're holding the note on $1.7 trillion in student loans while a skills gap gets wider and wider and wider. So I think the thing that got me in trouble a couple months ago was I said all of that, plus I don't know that the way to make it all better is to simply forgive all the student debt.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair to people who paid off their debt. And I
Right.
also don't think it's going to do anything to incentivize colleges to lower their tuition. So that pissed some people off.
Yeah, that's a big issue, is the fact that the colleges have inflated their tuitions to points that people just can't pay it. And yeah, if you're putting your child through school because you worked, you saved, you did everything you were supposed to do
Right.
to get your kid through college, and now you're being told to foot the bill because no one gets free college. This is all going to be paid for by tax dollars. So now this guy that did the right thing has to also foot the bill for people now that their loans are forgiven or they're going to free college. This is unfair, but even to say it's unfair is
unfair.
unbelievably unfair. Yes.
Well, and I mean, unlike energy and food and everything, like you mentioned, the value of the actual item has decreased. So you get a 4-year degree, and they tell you, yeah, you really need a 7-year degree.
Yeah, not
Never
only is it
stops,
more
dude.
money. Yeah.
It never stops. And here's the other thing that people forget. It's not like there isn't another side and another story, right? These stigmas and stereotypes and myths and misperceptions that keep people out of the skilled trade are equally scandalous. Like my foundation has trained over 1,200 people over the years in all of these construction trades. And I've been doing it long enough now. So we give away $1 million a year in scholarships, but now I can go back 3 or 4 years and talk to a guy who learned how to weld, which I just did yesterday. And this guy's 27 years old. He makes 140 grand a year.
Nice.
He has no debt. He's living outside of Kansas. He's expecting his second kid, just bought a new F-150 in cash. I'm like, this guy's story is incredible. And, now he's got 2 vans, hired a couple guys, a plumber, a steam fitter, and an electrician, and he's got a mechanical contracting company.
Great.
Right. And it started with a $9,000 gift from my foundation and a willingness on his part to learn how to weld.
Isn't that
Now there he is. And
Good for
nobody's telling that guy's story. And it's
Yeah.
a shame because there are hundreds of thousands of others just like it.
I'm sure kids that go to college learn a lot of things, but I don't think you're going to be learning as much about life as you do working and moving in the trades, moving up in the trades. The people you meet, the people you talk to, the success stories, the failure stories. I mean, you're surrounded by people on job sites from every spectrum of life. And man, do you get an education on life itself and an education on your trade for what you're doing. And really, if you have half a brain, it's pretty easy to pick up. You could go as far as you want, and it's a great thing. I went through HVAC in the trades. I was an HVAC guy for years until I got into broadcasting, and it wasn't. I didn't like it very much. I like this better, but it kept the roof over my head and kept food in my face. So, and I didn't even finish high school. By God.
But you got to think about the trajectory, right?
Yeah.
Most people would look at everything you just said and say, all right, a career in broadcasting is over here and a career in HVAC is over here. But the truth is, you wouldn't be sitting here today. We wouldn't be having this conversation had you not done the HVAC
Absolutely.
work,
Yeah.
right? It's a path, and way leads on to way. And this idea that, okay, that's a good job, that's a bad job, that's a clean job, that's a dirty job, that's a 4-year degree job, that's all just horse crap, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the color of collars. Honestly, it's work ethic, it's delayed gratification, it's curiosity, and really just a willingness to chase the opportunities that are in front of you. You can't teach that, but when you find it, you can nurture it, you can reward it, you can encourage it. That's what we try and do.
I do like the fact that what the country is supposed to be built on is that opportunity. Get out of my way. Let me excel. At with my own talents. Don't feel that you have to hand money to me or opportunity to me. Just set the table and leave me alone. That seems to be the best way this country has always worked.
When I see the Ford logo behind you, and I'm from Detroit, so I really do, like, I grew up around a lot of blue collar working people and a lot of interest in, the trades. And I think that I think there's just sort of a stereotype where they try to make you look down on it when a lot of these people make more than most average jobs.
Here's what happened. It's not like somebody sat down one day and said, how can we disparage half the people in our workforce and make them feel lousy, right?
Right.
What happened was in the 60s and 70s, college really did truly need better PR. We needed more people going to four-year schools and pursuing those kinds of degrees. So college got a big PR campaign. But like most PR, it went too far. So instead of just making a more persuasive case for going to school, we started saying, if you don't go to school, then you're screwed. You're going to wind up doing, you're going to wind up working in some factory or doing some god-awful thing. And so we promoted one form of education at the expense of all the others. And you can see it. You can see it in the language. When we talk about a four-year university, we talk about higher education.
Yeah.
When we talk about everything else, what is it? Alternative education.
Right.
You might as well call it lower education.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is jacked up. You set the table unfairly and improperly from the start. Then you get shop class out of high school. That might be pound for pound the stupidest thing we've ever done, because you just eliminated from sight half the jobs in the workforce. A kid can't even see what it looks like.
Right.
Like all representation of it has been removed.
Yeah,
And
if
so
you would be happy to go to shop class and you wouldn't even know that you liked woodworking, let's say. And then all of a sudden you realize, like, wow, I think I got something for this. I like it. I'm good at it. And that's just been taken away. Now, you don't even inspire these kids with different paths that they could take in their life. It's just this kind of conveyor belt into, like you said, higher education, or, we'll dump you off into a job.
Well, most of the kids I know who didn't go to college, who were like in auto shop with me, because I went to high school for 5 years and just had fun, but smoking cigarettes and hanging out, they all own businesses now. They're mechanics. They're people and they've been working since they left that school at 18.
It would.
you're not supposed to know what you're going to do with the rest of your life when you're 18.
No.
You're not supposed to know that. But when you put, a piece of paper in front of a kid and tell him if he doesn't sign on the dotted line, he's ruined, then the next thing you know, that kid's $60,000, $80,000 in debt. Yeah. And now he's got a degree, but he doesn't have any skills that are actually in demand. Yeah. And that's the tragedy of it, because it's hard to turn the ship around when you're 80 grand in the hole.
And those bills are still coming in. Those student loan
never stops.
Student loan bills. This is such an interesting thing you're doing. You always end up on TV shows that's like, I will watch that. This is 6 Degrees with Mike Rowe. 6 episodes, Discovery Plus, and you transport yourself back in time to some of the biggest events in history. I didn't even know we had time machines. But
no, we don't.
You please explain.
My dad was a history teacher. He told me years ago, he's like, look, the key is not to fill these kids' heads with facts and figures and dates. It's actually not even to educate them. The key is to make them give a damn about something they otherwise wouldn't care about. Same's true for making TV shows. In this show, I essentially begin each episode with a truly stupid question. Can a sheep do your taxes? Can a horseshoe find your soulmate? Can a mousetrap cure your hangover? Now, the answer to all these questions is always yes. But the show is a look at what it takes to cobble together a logical response that actually gets you from point A to point B.
The 6 degrees of 6 degrees.
That's it.
So it
Yeah,
has
Kevin
to
Bacon wasn't available, so, I did it.
link up. Somehow you have to link up a sheep or a mousetrap and doing your taxes or curing your headache.
Right. And like I said, the answer is always yes.
Right.
If you have enough time and a little bit of money, you can connect anything. And I shot this during COVID. I actually started it a year and a half ago. And then we decided, you know what, these would be better as hours instead of half hours. So I went back to reshoot. Then we got the corona. And when that happened, I was like, oh, crap. Because I paid for this myself with a sponsor, right? I didn't have a home for it. And that was a new experience. But I'm like, well, wait a minute. If we don't want to spend Steven Spielberg money, then what happens if we use puppets to recreate the San Francisco earthquake? What happens if we use animation or archival footage? And what happens if I never change my clothes? I just walk through history, right? I walk through time in the same stupid outfit. And what happens if I hire my best friend from high school named Chuck, who's a great actor who needed work and assumes the identity of 35 different historical figures, right?
Cut a few corners.
We cut all the corners, but we never lie, right? We always tell you the honest truth of how a horseshoe can help you find your soulmate. And along the way, you learn that Charles Newbold created the first iron plow, and that ushered in the agricultural revolution. And one of those plows was used to make a suit of armor in a famous shootout in Australia by a guy named Ned Kelly. And that famous shootout inspired the first full-length silent film, which convinced Hollywood that there was an actual business underneath all that. And then actresses came in like Hedy Lamarr, who changed the world. And we're not only Headley.
It's Headley.
And so it's a romp, guys. It's just a crazy romp through time. And when the dust settles, we always land the plane.
That's incredible.
I like it. You're always, like I said, every show you've been on, I've enjoyed it. You're very personable. People like you, Mike. What the hell is with that?
There's no accounting for taste, Anthony. And yet here I sit, ginning up controversy, giving away money, making shows for the people.
The controversial act of giving money away. Fantastic. Anything else you want the people to know?
Sooner or later, this mess is going to end. When it does, people that have a skill that's in demand are going to be more in demand than ever. I'm going to start this round of work ethic scholarships in about a month and a half. If you want to apply, I got $1 million we're giving away. MikeRoweWorks.org. There I am, fully dressed in my cap and gown without any pants.
There. Beautiful. Mike, thanks so much, man. Thanks for coming on. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Be well.
By the way, I love this setup, man. It's enough to make me want to do whatever it is you're doing.
I know. It's a lot of fun.
Looks terrific.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do it yourself. I went completely on my own. Nobody can tell me what to do anymore. That's right. Mike, thanks so much, man.
Adios.
Take it easy. The great Mike Rowe. You're a good guy. Like, he's genuinely a good guy.
That's genuine advice that people do need to hear.
Yeah.